A bold proposal to replace the federal income tax with a 30% national sales tax has been introduced by Congressman Earl Carter in the form of the Fair Tax Bill, or H.R. 25. Now, according to the bill, all federal taxes related to income, including payroll taxes, Social Security taxes, and Medicare taxes, would all be eliminated and replaced by a national sales tax. Now, the bill claims that the current tax system is detrimental to economic growth, reduces the standard of living, and imposes unnecessary administrative costs on individuals and businesses. Now, the proposed national sales tax is expected to fund all federal spending, including Social Security and Medicare. However, opponents of the bill argue that it will disproportionately impact lower income Americans and create an unnecessary high sales tax burden. All right. The Fair Tax Bill proposes that the national sales tax of 30%, although it's marketed as 23% as a national sales tax, this is actually a 30% tax because it would be calculated by adding 30% tax on top of the total price of any item, while the 23% tax is calculated by dividing tax by the total price of the item, which excludes the tax itself. But the bill's proponents argue that the fair tax will promote freedom, fairness, economic opportunity by repealing the income tax and other taxes and abolishing the IRS, or the Internal Revenue Service, and enacting a national sales tax to be administered primarily by the states. So the fair tax also compensates businesses for collecting and sending in sales tax, which would be 0.25% of the sales tax sent in. Now, businesses that fail to comply would be charged with criminal penalties. Now, proponents of the fair tax believe that it simplifies the tax code, encourages growth and innovation, and eliminates the need for the 87,000 new agents to weaponize the IRS. They claim that it transforms the U.S. tax code to a fully transparent and unbiased system, which does away with the IRS. However, the opposition argues that it will disproportionately impact those lower income Americans and put an unfair burden on poor and working class families. Now, furthermore, opponents claim that it will eliminate many of the benefits of the current tax system, such as deductions and credits that are targeted towards those lower income Americans. They also argue that it will lead to inflation, higher prices for goods and services, and a reduction in consumer spending. Now, the proposed national sales tax would be on top of the pre-existing state and local taxes, which means that sales taxes could be as high as 40% in many areas, depending on where exactly you live in America. This is because many states and localities get a lot of their money from state sales taxes. Now, moreover, the national sales tax would be applicable to goods and services, including things like babysitting, which means that people would have to pay sales tax even on the smallest of transactions. This could lead to confusion and conflict between buyers and sellers, and could also create a disincentive for people to engage in these smaller transactions. Now, in conclusion, the Fair Tax Bill proposes a radical overhaul of the U.S. tax system by replacing the federal income tax with a 30% national sales tax. Now, the bill's proponents argue that it will simplify the tax code, promote economic growth and innovation, and eliminate the need for the IRS. However, opponents argue that it will disproportionately impact those lower income, hardworking Americans and create an unnecessary high sales tax burden, eliminate many benefits of the current tax system, and lead to higher rates of inflation and higher prices for goods and services. So furthermore, the proposed national sales tax would be on top of those pre-existing sales taxes by state and local, which means that taxes could be as high as that, like I said, 40% in many areas. Now, whether the fair tax bill is a good idea or a bad idea, now that's a matter of debate, and the ultimate decision will depend on a careful analysis of its potential impact on the economy and society as a whole. So take that information and do with it what you will, but have a great day.